All right, so welcome. Today's class, we're going to do a lot of kind of side work. We're going to feel in those obliques. So a huge part of being able to do that safely is really feeling that grounding sensation from the hips below. So let's just get the body loosened up a little bit. I'm going to go through a really familiar seated stretching routine. Just go ahead and find that easy sitting position. You want to feel the hips soft. Knees should feel relaxed towards the ground. So if you're noticing any tension high in the hips, or if the knees feel like they're trying to pull up, it's a good idea to lift up on a folded blanket or a block. And that helps open up and soften the hips. We're just going to let ourselves settle into a tall spine. So we want to feel the muscles around the core activating, providing some support. But we want to avoid trying to stiffen up through the back. So we want to find that natural curve. You can let those sides sway side to side, forwards and backwards, and just settle in. Let the shoulders roll a few times and drop. Just take a couple breaths here. Just feel the space that you're in. Feel the ground where you're sitting. We're going to interlace our fingers in front. Take a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, press those palms out, round the shoulders, and take those shoulder blades back and down. And as you press the hands forward, feel those shoulder blades spreading apart in the back and wrapping around, hugging you from behind. Bow the head and just take a few breaths here. And then gently bring those hands up overhead. Roll the shoulders down, and when your hands press, feel the lengthening in the torso. Very nice. We're going to release those hands and bring them behind the back. Interlace the fingers, pull the elbows and the shoulder blades together and look up. Let the heart float towards the sky. That heart lifting and release. Good. Let's just do that as a flow. Inhale, interlace the fingers in front. Exhale, press the palms forward and round the back. Inhale, open up, reaching towards the sky, lifting the ribs, and then exhale, keep those lifted ribs as the hands float behind the back. Interlace and inhale. Open up the heart, spread apart those shoulders, and release. Very nice. And so those arms come out to the side. And then stretch those fingers as far as you can. Feel that waking up sensation down the upper arms. We're going to drop the right hand down and the left arm lifts up. So root into both of those sit bones, and as you stretch over, feel that lengthening from the very top of the hip bone up through the ribs and into the armpit. Stretching, stretching, and come on back. Back to center. Let's take it to the other side. Good. So the hand that's rooted into the ground is pressing that shoulder still away from the ear, and it's keeping us long on that underside so that we can get even longer on the upper side as we bend to the side. And then inhale, come on back to center. Let's take that part as a flow. Exhale. Keep the exhale going. Feel the lengthening and come back up. And exhale. Very nice. Let's come on up to center. Take it into our twist. So now we'll take that left hand across to the right knee. Right hand reaches behind and look back over that right shoulder. Press into the sit bones, long in the spine. And on the exhale, twist a little deeper. Draw the belly button back towards the spine and feel how that allows this twist to come all the way from the sacrum up to the base of the neck and the skull. Come on back to center and let's take it to the other side. Again, holding it for a few breaths as we just deepen into the sensation of the twist. Noticing how we can get longer in the spine each time we inhale, holding that length as we exhale, twist a little deeper. And coming back to center, open up those arms. Let's do that part as a flow. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, we return nice and smooth and slow. And exhale. Great, let's put it all together now. Inhale, interlace those fingers. Exhale, press the palms forward. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, release behind the back. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale, release, keeping that chest lifted. Inhale, arms to the side. Exhale, side fold. Inhale, return to center. Exhale, side fold. Inhale, back to center. And to our twist, we exhale. And return. And last time. And return to center. Go ahead and roll those shoulders. We're going to get a little warm in the shoulders. We're going to reach those arms out and then bend the elbows 90 degrees. Nice. Shoulders are going to drop down, sliding down along the spine. Those upper arms are going to stay parallel to the floor as we just drop those fingers down. Good. See if we can keep those shoulders down as we just smoothly up, down, up, down. A few more times. Very nice. Yeah, let those arms come out. First, right hand on top. Let's give ourselves a great big hug. And just round the back a little. Inhale, open it up. Left hand on top, great big hug and round the back. Inhale, open up the arms. Left arm reaches out. Right arm threads. We're just gonna come into our eagle arms here. Let those arms come to the center of the body and then slide them up and down a few times, reaching those elbows. Feel the shoulder blades working apart in the back and then drop the elbows down, pull them away from the heart. Just take a nice deep breath here. And release on the inhale. Let's do it on the other side. Right arm reaches out, left arm wraps around, elbows smooth up and down. Good, elbows come down, pull them away from the heart, and just take a few breaths. And release. Great, we're gonna open up the shoulders in the other way, so take that left arm up overhead, reach the hand to the center of the shoulder blades there. You can even give it a little bit of a hug. Gomukhasana arms, cow face pose. We're just gonna reach the elbow and the arm away from the back of the head. So see if you can find that tall spine. Reach the other arm back and behind. We're you're just going to look to see if you can point the fingertips towards each other. And we want to keep that chest lifted and the arm off of the back of the head. So if the arm is pulling into the back of the head, you can let it come off to the side a bit. And let the very top of the head float towards the sky. Very nice. Let's release. That feels great in the shoulders. Let's take it over to the other side. Giving it a nice little stretch. And then allowing it to find its place so that it stays off of the back of the head. Other arm reaches back. Fingertips are going to point towards each other. You can also use a sock or a strap and hold that behind the back. Just take a few breaths here. All right, so we're going to take this into a flow. On the inhale, we're going to smoothly open the arms out. Feel how the shoulders rotate. And then on the exhale, we place the hands in the opposite direction. Yeah, inhale. At the top of the inhale, those arms are reaching out to the side, and the exhale begins as we float. Let's do it one more time on each side, your own pace. Let your own breath move however quickly or slowly it wants to. And back to center. Let's let those hands come to the ground. We're going to come over onto the hands and knees. Let's just do a few cat-cows here. So just remember those hands under the shoulders and knees, beneath the hips. You can start off kind of smooth. Keeping the flexion and the extension just a little bit softer. Let the spine feel the movement before really pulling the chest through in your cow pose. And then reaching the spine to the sky in your cat pose. A few more times. Dropping your heels to, or your hips to your heels, but keeping the chest lifted. Both hands are going to stay down on the ground. We're just going to lift one arm up and open the chest to the side. See if you can keep, so rather than tilting off to the side, we're going to see if we can keep that shoulder over the wrist as we reach up. Really feel that lengthening. Nicely done. Come on back down, and let's try it on the other side. Feel that shoulder dropping back and down. And coming back to center. This time we're going to sink down into child's pose. And then come forward into a knee plank. You can look up and lift the chest slightly, and then come on back. Good. Inhale, come forward. We're only going into little mini back bends here. Sink back into your child's pose on the exhale. Inhale. You want to take that forward pose a little bit deeper. Keep the upper arms close to the ribs and the elbows point back behind as they bend. Nice. Keep a little contraction in the front of the belly to help protect that lower back, opening up the chest. And as you come forward, as your heart floats, let the shoulders drop back and down to lift the heart. Yes. All right, the next time we come forward, on the way back, turn your toes over, lift the knees up, Shift back into a downward facing dog. Alternate pressing the heels down one at a time. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. And pull the belly button back towards the thighs. Those heels can stay lifted and the knees can stay bent. We want the back to feel relaxed and long. Palms are flat and those fingertips and base of the fingers, that's where the weight of the hand is. Wrists are floating. Walk those feet forward. Go ahead and bend nice and deep in the knees and let the upper part of the body just pour towards the floor. Our halfway lift. Long in the spine and then exhale. Sink a little deeper. You can bend those knees as deeply as you need. We want to avoid any tension in the back. We want the back to feel released. So the more those knees bend, the more the back muscles can just soften and release. And let's press into the feet. So get those hips deep, deep down as the chest lifts. Almost like we're coming into a chair pose. Lift the arms up and then press up. Yes. Back into a mountain pose. Inhale, lift the hands up. Let's bend those knees nice and deep again as we come down. Halfway lift. And step back into that downward facing dog. Let's come forward into a plank. You're welcome to drop to the knees and pull the chest forward if you'd like. Sink back into that downward facing dog. Let's just lift our left leg up behind us and step it forward. Drop the back knee. And point those back toes. So in our low lunge, we're going to keep the knee above the ankle, and you're going to draw the inner thighs towards each other. So notice when you do that, it kind of lifts and locks everything in. Remember, we're going to focus on being solid and grounded from the waist down so that we have that stability to deepen into some side bends. Go ahead and reach up and find your low lunge. You're going to keep drawing those thighs together. Drive that up front foot into the ground. Feel the activation and the stability. Hands come down. Turn the toes over. Lift the back knee and step back. Let's try it on the other side. Lift the leg. Step it forward. Drop the back knee. Pull the thighs together. So when our hands are down, that knee might be reaching out a little bit deep further. But when we press up, let's see if we can get that knee above the ankle. Draw the thighs together and reach up. Nice. So we're going to brace into the core to help keep that lower back long and supported. And the chest will lift up, shoulders are going to roll back and down. So spin your pinky fingers towards each other and see how that helps lift everything up in the front. Yes, looking strong. Let's come on down. Turn the toes, step back to your downward dog. Come forward into your plank or your upward facing dog, cobra, whichever your forward pose will be. Back to downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and take a few breaths to pedal out the feet. I'm going to loosen into that back body. Looking in between the hands, bring the feet forward. Halfway lift. Deep fold. Sweep it up. And back. All right, we're going to go through that one time as a flow. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg behind you. Exhale, step it forward and drop the back knee. Inhale, come up to that low lunge. Don't forget that pulling together of the thighs. And then exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lift. Exhale, steps. Dropping the knee. And inhale. Yes, back down. Downward facing dog. Your forward pose. Exhale back. Bring those feet forward. Halfway lift. Deep fold. And sweep it up. And return. Great. Go ahead and grab a quick drink. I'm just going to change my lighting a little bit here. My overhead light can tend to get a little glary if I don't dim it. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of movement into that side body, standing in Tadasana. So the feet are under the hips, soft bend in the knees. So notice, go ahead and just lock your knees out for a second. Notice where the weight might be. It might be shifted back on your heels a little bit. And then just softly soften into the knees. And just notice how the whole foot gets an opportunity to connect to the ground there. Begin to contract into the thighs, drawing those inner thighs together. Notice how that starts to lock us a little bit deeper into the ground. All four corners of the feet. We're going to lift those arms up and we're going to interlace. So we're just going to take the thumb and the forefinger, that opening there, we're just going to put it into the opposite elbow and we're going to hold it up over our heads. This is palm tree pose. Okay. So let those shoulders drop back and down. Notice your feet. So we're going to keep coming back to the feet. Activate into the legs. Feel the feet grounded. From the feet up to the waist, we're going to stay solid. And we're just going to feel as if we were a palm tree out. Getting ready to feel a tropical storm coming. So just feel this swaying side to side. You can even twist a little here. We want to find flexibility in that side body. Remember, we're focusing on those obliques. Now the winds are picking up a little bit more. Oh, maybe it's a hurricane coming. Maybe side bend a little bit more. And keep coming back to the feet. Oh, maybe you're sweeping back behind you, a little back bend, a little bit of a forward bend, twisting in the wind. Return to the feet. Remember the feet, the legs, the hips, they're solid. Yes, you're looking great. Let's take it a little bit deeper. Coming up a little higher number category here. Yeah. Very nice. Calming the storm, reach the arms up and bring them back down. Very nice. All right, I'm going to just do a side view here as we're going to take the right leg and gently lift it up off of the ground. Bend a little deeper into the standing leg. Feel your balance. Hinge forward. We're really rooting in as we drop back and come into our crescent pose, Anjaneyasana. Taking our time, that's going to challenge the balance and it's going to require that we find that grounding.
even if only for one foot. If you can drop the back heel, turning that foot 45 degrees and finding a warrior one. It might pull that hip back, but that's okay. Our goal though is to keep that front knee over the ankle. And just notice that great sensation down the back leg. The whole pinky side of your back foot is going to press in, and our shoulders are going to square to the front. Warrior one. This one will challenge into the ankles a bit. Lots of great sensation here. Feel all four corners of the feet, front and back, pressing in. Begin to draw the thighs towards each other. Feel that stability. All right, here we go. We're going to let the shoulders come down. We're going to kick to the front foot and step. Whew. Let's try it on the other side now. Just begin to peel that foot up. Feel the standing leg, bend into the knee. Feel that grounding, and then slowly step it back. Let's come to crescent pose first. Heel is lifted. Feel that whole front body, and then rotate the back foot. See if that heel can find the ground. It's going to pull that hip back at first, and then we're just going to start shifting the front, the upper body forward. Just notice the sensation. That back leg is going to get a whole different sensation here. Difference between warrior one and our Anjaneyasana. Great. All right, from here, shift that weight forward. Lift that back leg. Bring it forward. Nice, shake it out. We're going to take it into a little bit of a flow here. So let's go back to the right leg. Lift it up. Step it back. Drop into your warrior one. So remember, that's where that back heel is going to drop. Sweep those arms up. Looking good. We're going to straighten the front leg. And you can move that back leg however you would like. We're going to turn our focus to the outside of the front foot. Hands will come to the waist. We're going to lean down forward. We're going to come into our pyramid pose. Hips pull back. Chest stays lifted. So if you have blocks here, it's a great opportunity to use the blocks to help find that support. Oftentimes, if those hamstrings and the thigh muscles, the glute muscles are not loosened up, coming to the ground will cause us to round the back. We want to avoid that. So we're either going to keep the hands on blocks, we're going to keep the fingertips just gently onto the leg without pressing weight into it, or we're going to keep the hands to the waist. You can also come into a reverse prayer pose, which allows the heart to stay lifted. So if your shoulders are feeling the ability to do that, that's the traditional hand position. Nice. Go ahead and lift up. We're going to turn the toes forward, reach the arms up, and come down into a goddess pose. Just to loosen things up a little bit. Good. Tiny little bounces here. Feel the hips staying forward. Feel the warmth happening in the inner thigh. Bring it up. And step back forward. We're going to take it to the other side now. So now that left leg is going to step back. So peel it up. Nice and controlled. Drop that back heel into our warrior one, and the upper body rotates to the front. Seeing if you can keep that back foot down. Lots of sensation all the way down to the ankle here. And we're going to straighten that front leg. Readjust the back foot, but it's going to stay flat. And explore into your pyramid pose. Remembering those hips, we want to push through the front foot, and the hip is going to reach behind them. The chest is going to stay lifted. You bring those hands into reverse prayer. That really helps keep that heart lifted. Keep pushing the hips back. Give that back foot 50% of the weight here. And bring it up. Turn those toes forward and come on down into your goddess. Nice. Sweep it up. Let's do a forward fold here. Sway side to side. Gently bring it up. And we're going to take it into a warrior two flow now. So let's come back to the top of your mat. We'll start this time with the left foot, lifting it up and stepping it back. Good. Anjaneyasana, crescent. Let that back foot come down and then see if you can turn and face the front. Nice, so here's our difference, warrior one, warrior two. Now, as if my spine was the binding of a book or the hinge in a door, I'm gonna open that front side as my back heel turns 90 degrees, opening into my warrior two. Yes. We're going to drop the back hand and lift the knee up. And we lift the hand, the front hand up into our reverse, and then coming over into our extended side angle. Then think here about squeezing the thighs together again, just like we did in all of those other positions. You pull the inner thighs towards each other. It pulls everything towards the center. Good. So here's a little oblique action. Let's just come back, keeping the legs strong, reverse, and come forward. Lengthen, 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 and come back. Lengthening this side now. And forward. Great, last time. We're gonna cartwheel our hands down. Step back to a downward dog. Go ahead and just walk your heels out here. Notice if you feel any difference in one side of the body. And then walk those feet forward. Halfway lift. Deep fold. Sweep it up. Into our Tadasana. We're going to take it on the other side now. That right leg is going to peel up. And let's step back. Heel stays lifted. Anjaneyasana, crescent. Let's take it into our warrior two. Hips will pivot a bit as my back foot turns 45 degrees. And then see if we can find. So our goal eventually would be to step back into warrior one with that forward facing momentum. But we're going to take it step by step. We're very used to Anjaneyasana with this back leg turning. It's just a different sensation that we're going to get used to. Good. Let's open it into warrior two. Get nice and deep. Remember that knee stays over the ankle. Draw the thighs together. Feel those hips pull forward, hips underneath of the shoulders. And take it back to your reverse. Feel that lengthening. Feel that grounding in the legs. We're not going to let go of that grounding in the legs. They're going to stay activated as we come forward. Yes. And back. So now we'll just find a little flow, the side to side bend. Keeping the activation in the legs, keeping the grounding, and letting the upper body find its flow. Finding its flexibility. Great, back to reverse. And we're going to cartwheel those hands. Back to downward dog. Drop to your knees. Sink into a child's pose. Those hips sway side to side. Walk your hands over to the left. Walk your hands over to the right. Back to center. Let's come up. Turn the toes over. Downward facing dog and walk those feet forward. Halfway lift. Deep fold. Sweep it up. Back into your Tadasana. So we're going to do one more pose that's going to get us into that side bend. We're going to work on Trikonasana. So if you, in your triangle pose, know that you like to raise the floor up, go ahead and grab a block. We're just going to shake out the legs a little bit. We're going to come nice and wide, very wide in our stand. So I'd like for you to take that same, like if you make an L with your finger and thumb, and place it just where the hip joint, so not up high at the hip bone, but down where the leg and the hip connect. I'd like you to keep your hands down there and just push side to side and feel where that hinge is. Yeah. So we're going to go with a little more flexibility here. In our extended side angle, we kept the hips squared and we did a little bit more just upper body here in the waist. In triangle pose, we actually extend here. This is where we're extending here and bending here. So, left foot, we're going to turn those toes out to the side. You want your feet to be 3 or 4 feet apart. This is a fairly wide stance. Go ahead, lock the knees out first, and then feel that little unlocking. If you lock the knees, the muscles usually are pretty soft, and then as soon as you unlock them, little micro bend, the muscles have to wake up. We want them to stay engaged and begin to draw the thighs together. So notice if you had your front leg locked out here as you drew the thighs together, you might hyperextend into the knee. So we want to keep that micro bend as we draw the thighs together. Hands on the hip, pulling back. So the front leg is pushing in and it's pushing that front hip back. Yeah. We're going to keep this shoulder over top of the leg. Great. So here's where we can get a little bit of information from our body about how far we really want to go. So this is where you might want to use your block. You could even pull a chair and have your hand on a chair. It all depends on where your body is today. We're going to take that front shoulder and we're going to reach it out. Try to get it to hover over those toes. Reach the other arm up. So arms are going to come to 12 and 6 o'clock. If you have your block, you can go ahead and reach up overhead. Good. Remember, pressing into the feet, all four corners, pull the thighs together. Feel how that opens the hips and pulls the hips forward. Now pull the shoulder blades together and back. And bend slightly in the front leg as you push and lift. We're going to come into a reverse triangle. And back down. Good. Keeping those legs activated. So as you come up, make sure they stay working. Those legs are going to stay working, and our upper body is going to have a strong foundation to explore its flexibility. Yes, one more time. And come on back. We're going to come forward again. I'm going to take it to the other side. You can let those hips find that movement. Right toes are going to turn out. Okay. Lock the knee and then give it its little micro bends. Feel the difference here. Eventually that will be second nature, but sometimes we just want to make sure that we don't have the habit of locking into the joints. Begin to draw the thighs together. Hands come to the hip. Just feel that stacking of the hip while you're keeping the legs activated. Yeah. Heart stays lifted. The shoulder, everything stays in this line, this straight line. Good. All right. Pull the shoulder, hover it over those toes, and then let the hand drop. Other arm lifts. Press into the feet, draw the thighs together. Pull the shoulder blades together behind you. Feel the ribs here, the muscles that are just on the outside of the ribs, the anterior serratus. Let them hug towards the front while the shoulder pulls back. That's going to really help us find that rotation. Yes. All right, bend the front knee slightly. Press into the foot to help support as you come up. We want to make sure we're kind to the body. Reverse triangle. And take it back down. So with the breath, the inhale, we come to reverse. And the exhale, we come into our Trikonasana. A few more times, your own breath's pace. And coming back. Good, back to center, bend that front knee. Come back to that center. I'm just gonna bend little mini side lunges here. Make sure we give the muscles a little bit of extra movement, especially when we hold a position in a joint for a while. We just want to make sure to give it a little bit of something. All right. Sweep your arms up. Come on down into that forward fold. We're going to take that bend a little bit deeper now. Hands are on the ground. So just go over to your left knee. Walk your hands over there. Let the right leg go straight.
And walk it to the other side. Great, so just walk your hands out a little bit. We're gonna bring ourselves to the knees. So I wanna explore that side to side. So sometimes being up on our feet, the center of gravity is up high, and if we're not feeling that solid grounded stance, it can make it a little unnerving to get into a deep side bend. So we can always practice poses by lowering our center of gravity. We're gonna take that side bend to the knee. So just come up on the knees, and we're gonna let the left leg come out to the side. Gate pose. We're gonna press from the knee through the fingertips. This arm is gonna just help remind us not to collapse on the downside as we reach over into our gate pose. Very nice. So this is just like our triangle pose. And if you wanted to take it to the other side, a side to side bend, you can come over into an extended side angle. So you may notice a little more stability here, a little bit more confidence in allowing that deep stretch. Come on back up and let's switch sides. Coming down into your gate pose. Remember, we're coming up and over like a rainbow rather than folding and bending. Folding, bending, that's gonna make those muscles in the back not so happy. But this lengthening and reaching helps that movement happen in the right alignment. Let's come on back and maybe take it over to that extended side angle. And press it up. Good. Let's come on back into a seated position. Feet out in front. So we're going to do a kind of a half roll up, roll down. So it's not so much in Pilates, they do a roll up where you're down at the bottom. It's a core exercise, but we're going to come from the seated position. We're going to use that with the arms up overhead to come into our forward fold, our Paschimottanasana, but we're going to keep it in a little bit of a flow. So I'm going to come down with my belly button pulled back, my heart lifted. I'm going to come forward, stretching into the hamstrings, and then I'm going to round my back and stack my spine as I come back up. So that's great. Here we go. Hinging first, and then rounding. And bring it up. Inhale. Exhale, hinge. Rounding at the end of the exhale. And then inhale, begin the journey up. Yes, exhale. Round it. And bring it up. Let's do that one more time. Exhale. Inhale, bring those arms up. Let's come into a little back bend here. Take your hands behind you, fingertips towards the torso. Pull the shoulder blades back. Point the toes. We're going to lift the hips. And let the soles of the feet press towards the ground. Let the head fall back. Purvottanasana. This is our reverse plank. And go ahead and let it down. Very good. If that bothers your wrists, you can always come back into the elbows and just push up into a little modified fish pose. Our goal is to just let the shoulders roll back and really feel that opening in the front deltoids. Great, and bring it back up.
So one more option to do that side bend, we can bring the center of gravity even lower and take it to a seated position. So we're gonna pull into our Parivriti, Janu Shirshasana. So this is a side to side bend. Left leg's gonna reach out. Right leg's gonna bend, arms out to the side. Good. You're gonna drop the left arm to the inside of the leg. I want you to press the arm against the leg and the leg into the arm so that it helps rotate and open us up towards the sky. And then you can just begin to lower the elbow towards the ground. See if you can keep everything that's connected to the ground to stay there connected. Feel that stretch. That's a great stretch. Go ahead and pull it up as if some big hand comes out of the sky and lifts you up. And let's switch sides. Arms out. Great. Drop the hand, press the arm and the leg together and feel that rotation. And then begin to just fall back from the sky. Yeah. See if you can reach the top of your head like you're trying to pull it over, hover over your toes. Reach, reach, reach. Really feel that lengthening. And come on back. Great. We're going to come into Janu Shirshasana, which takes that same kind of pose, but towards the front. So just like if we were in a tree pose, now my leg is, or my foot's going to press up against the leg. My focus is going to be towards the pinky side of my toe. So lift the arms up, shift so that you're looking at the outside of that straight leg, and just come on down. Just feel that stretch into the side of the leg and the hip. Gently bring it up. Let's take it over to the other side. Grounding in, squaring our hips to that straight leg, turning your focus to the outside of the foot. Reach. Just allow yourself to come to whatever part of the leg or the foot feels comfortable. Our chest stays lifted, so the chest is pulling towards the toes. Just breathe into the sensation. This should feel pleasant, perhaps slightly challenging, but avoiding any sensations of pain. The breath should be smooth. Gently bring it up. We're going to come onto the back, letting those knees stay hugged to the chest. Roll the sacrum side to side. Let that right leg go straight. Keep the left knee hugged nice and close. And then start reaching that knee as if you were trying to tuck it under your arm. Opening into the hip.
Softening the body into the breath. Let's bring that knee back to center. Let the foot come flat to the ground, up against the inner thigh of the straight leg. We're going to roll so that that knee comes over across the body, and then reach the shoulder back to come into our supine spinal twist. And again, our focus here is to begin to release. We're going to release any tensions in the body. Release any repetitive thoughts. Release expectations. And just float on the breath. Slowly, mindfully, gently bring yourself back onto your back. Now let's pull both knees again to the chest. Allow that left leg to go straight. Hug that right knee. And then tuck it under the arm, opening into the hip. Taking those few breaths, finding that release into that right hip. Coming back to center, place the foot flat down and let the knee come across and over the body. And then reach back with the opposite arm, finding that twist. Allowing the breath to find the softness, to find the quiet, to find the clarity. Gently bring yourself back onto your back. Pull the knees to the chest one more time. And give yourself any final little stretches or movements. And then softly bring yourself to your final Shavasana. Allowing the legs to reach the length of the mat. Letting the toes drop off to the sides, just feeling that release in the hips. The arms feel heavy, cradled by the earth, shoulder blades gently held by the ground beneath. So we just take this time of Shavasana to feel that full release. Releasing the body of our tensions. Releasing the mind. Of any stagnant thought patterns. Letting the breath whisk them away. Finding space for clarity. And releasing the heart from any heaviness. Allowing any of those emotions that may be weighing us down to just be released. Freeing the heart to be light and open. May we all feel forgiveness, happiness, love. May we all be freed from our sufferings. May we all feel a sense of belonging and peace. And gently notice the awareness coming back into the body and the muscles, rejuvenated, refreshed. We wiggle our fingers and toes. Lifting the arms up overhead. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale. Pull the knees to the chest. Wrap the arms around. One more time. Give them a great big squeeze. And then let them go. Gently roll to one side and just take a moment to connect with that space that you've created with your practice today. Set your intentions for the rest of the day. And then gently bring yourself to a seated position. We'll sit with hands at heart. Lifting those thumbs to the third eye and bowing to the light that's within all of us. Namaste. Thank you.